just to let you know this is being recorded. So we're on it.
Okay, thanks.
And again, we're really grateful that you're here. Yes, people coming in. And so, welcome. My name is Paty Mariposa Hernandez. I am the founder of Mariposa's Holistic Healing. You may have noticed either my name or my business because the emails are coming from me. My company is the one producing this event, and I'm so grateful to be in the co-facilitation process with Shayna and Becca, and we're going to be introducing them momentarily. So we do have a slideshow presentation that Becca will be bringing up momentarily just to be able to help you connect visually. I know I'm a very big visual person. If somebody's only talking to me, my brain starts creating images, whether real or not. So I like to stay present with looking at what we're talking about. And we brought some really great images that will reflect the nature of this retreat. Becca, when you're ready.
Mhm.
And as we go through this presentation, we definitely encourage you to share questions and comments in the chat. However, towards the end of the presentation, we will have an opportunity where we'll stop the presentation and answer anything that you have pressing on your mind, something that wasn't clear, whatever comes up for you. And all right, so this retreat, we're calling it Connecting to True Self, and we're going to be going over what that means. It's a spring reset retreat in Sebastian. For those of you coming from South Miami or Miami like me, uh, it's about 2.5 hours north on the East Coast. If you're coming from different directions, definitely GPS will get you there very easily. It's a beautiful location. We have some great pictures that we'll be sharing with you. Though you'll notice the dates are March 27th through the 29th, so the last weekend of March. Go ahead. So, connecting true self retreat. This is an invitation to all of you. This is where you get to enter a state of mind, a state of being that whether you have been feeling disconnected for any reason, all of our responsibilities day to day, we want to invite you to come back to that true joy, that true self, the true happiness, so that you can rediscover the clarity that lives beneath the noise or all the things to do. So, here we are going to be introducing ourselves and sharing a little bit more about our gifts. So, I will continue. Like I mentioned, I am Paty. I am a licensed clinical social worker based in Miami. A lot of the work that I do is virtual, and I'm also an Usui Reiki master teacher. And my focus is trauma. And not to say that I love trauma. My purpose is actually to help people become more aware of the trauma that is in their body that has been suppressed because of pain or whatever horrific things, and how we can release it through the body, through energy work, and sometimes not even having to revisit the story or the pain, but connecting to our bodies and reminding ourselves that we can feel safe. So really grateful to be the event producer as well as one of your co-facilitators. So Shayna, I will pass it over to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Shayna. I'm based in North Miami. I'm from South Africa originally. I'm a mindfulness and movement guide, a certified Reiki practitioner, trained in hypnosis, yoga, and a Pilates instructor. And I'm also a first-time mom, learning how to navigate this new chapter with no village while trying to stay connected to myself. That's the main thing here. My work is centered around helping people understand their bodies and feel grounded and reconnect with, parts of themselves that they may have lost in the rush of your everyday life. And I'm no stranger to that. I've learned firsthand that, self-connection looks very different when you haven't slept. That's just my personal experience. I'm here because I've learned that slowing down isn't always possible in real life, but when we create an intentional space for it, even if it's just briefly, something inside us softens and we can come back to who we are beneath all that noise. And I'm really honored to be, holding this retreat with Paty and Becca. Each of us is bringing something so different, and together we're creating a space that's gentle, real, and supportive, no matter where you are on your journey. So yeah, I practice Pilates in my daily life. That's going to be something that's part of the retreat. I'm super excited and just holding space for all of you. And that's a little bit about me.
Hmm.
Handing over to Becca.
Thanks, ladies. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Becca. So good to see you all, and thanks for taking the time to be here. I'm so excited to be co-facilitating this retreat with Paty and Shayna. And Shayna, just hearing you talk about, stepping into motherhood and the different things in day-to-day life, whether it's stepping into motherhood or any other phase of life that can be disruptive to this process of really connecting deep within self. Um, and, through this kind of inspiring the theme around this retreat, connecting to true self. So, this was a theme of collaboration, but Shayna really, wanted to host an incredible retreat and invited Paty and I to come in and say, let's cultivate and let's create this together. So, so excited for that and for an opportunity to do this at Chosen, which is a retreat center that is, kind of in the depths of what I have been calling wild Florida, like very tropical and untouched in this retreat center in a way that really allows us to tap in. So I'm an integrative practitioner, licensed mental health counselor. I work with energy medicine that's called Body Talk, and weaving these practices together to support people in coming into alignment, learning how to begin to trust and decipher the language of the body, the sensations of the body, tapping into our deep wisdom so that we can tune into this natural GPS, which is the fullness of our being as we navigate our lives. I have the privilege of doing that with people who at this point are kind of all around the world, which is so awesome and such a privilege, and opening these opportunities to come into the retreat container together. Retreats are a huge passion of mine. I have been participating in retreats for probably close to 20 years, anything from 14-day silent retreats to yoga retreats and plant medicine ceremonies. And so to begin to bring and weave this together into the depth of a container that allows us to step away from the day-to-day and really plug into ourselves in a different way is such a privilege. So together with everyone who participates in this retreat, we get to cultivate deep restoration, deep connection, and whatever and wherever we are along our path of growth and change and transformation. So welcome. And I've got two screens. I don't know how to move things, so I might be looking over here a little bit as I take us a little deeper. So let's just take a moment. If it feels safe and welcome in your body, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, maybe bringing a hand onto the body or both hands. If you'd rather just lower your gaze or that feels more appropriate to you at this time, please do so. And just feeling into this breath, feeling into the sit bones. Let's invite a gentle breath in, smooth exhale. And we'll just do that a couple more times at your own pace, breathing. And on this next breath, as you breathe in, just inviting all of the energies of your day to allow your whole self to arrive right here, just a little bit more. Allowing the sounds that are around you, the temperatures, the space, just to hold us all right here. So we take this next in-breath, inviting a gentle transition, opening the eyes. Just noticing how that feels. There's no right or wrong here. In these moments, there's a version of us that whispers in these in-betweens. It's deep, it's wise, it's patient. And in a retreat container, it offers something unlike any other container that I've been in, and a deep opportunity to reconnect with these truths. Retreats offer an opportunity for us to step away from all the roles that we hold to actually be held in an environment that's safe so that we can explore different modalities, different practices, different ways of being that support us in seeing the world in new ways as well, and seeing ourselves in new ways. Retreating offers an opportunity, and this retreat will offer an opportunity for us to exhale, to allow the nervous system to decompress, to soften, to unwind. It's when this happens that we can move into these spaces where we connect to true self. Sometimes there's stillness there. Sometimes it's rough. But whatever it is, we come into this opportunity to really feel and be in the truth. Adulting in this modern age requires a lot. So I just want to take a couple moments and talk a little bit about the stress of daily living. And this is really like what, I'm talking about the Western world, but specifically Americans. And really, this is across life phases right now. And that's part of the modern age that we live in. But just taking a moment, and I'm going to invite you as I'm touching into these to stay connected to your sit bones, to feel your breath. Right? The intention isn't to have us raise into the stress, but just to simply consider maybe how these things have been affecting us. There's so much information and so much connectivity, which is amazing. I wouldn't be able to do the work that I do without the connectivity. And it can be a lot and sometimes nonstop. And it has an effect on our bodies, on our minds, on our wellness. There is often a level of chronic stress that we're faced with. And this can elevate our baseline, right? So people who have had the opportunity to work with me, sometimes I look at like the thermometer, where are we on this thermometer of stress, right? And our baselines can be elevated. If we're starting at like, on a scale of 1 to 10, we might be starting the day at a 5 because of the connectivity, because of some of these other things. All of this can lead to, decision fatigue. I like to think about like when you step into the cereal aisle. I don't know if anybody's been in the cereal aisle lately, but whoa, there's like literally 100 options. Like how, if you didn't know, okay, I'm going for Raisin Bran, like you wouldn't, it's like I leave the aisle with nothing because there's a decision fatigue, too many things to choose from, too many decisions to make. Let's just take a breath. Some of the other things we're affected by are so many different roles that we're invited to step into. And many of these roles are a gift, but how do we juggle from being partner to being daughter to being student to being employee and just navigating these different demands and expectations? A lot of these things can lead us to be very disconnected from the signals of our body if we've ever learned to connect with them to begin with. And in my opinion, it's a regular cultivation that allows us to learn how to connect, and to stay connected so that we can navigate by that GPS. It can be challenging depending on our lifestyle and where we're at, but in the Western world, to find deep, meaningful rest and really take moments for these. So there's more, but ultimately, these different stressors can lead us to feeling like misaligned, tension in our bodies, in our minds around the ways that we want to be showing up and the ways that we are. Or just coming back to like the decisions that we have to make and the ways that we have to show up. And sometimes we might be going to sleep thinking like, oh man, I really wish I showed up to that conversation this way, or I'd really like to go about things this way. Over time, these stressors build up in our bodies and our minds. They can lead to aches and pains and tensions and relationships, can affect our immune system. So I'm not sharing this or bringing this in to be scary or to create fear, but more to just kind of lay it out, like talking about that conscious awareness of what we do face and opening a window into another opportunity. And that's something that I have found in retreats and entering retreat. And here, the three of us, Paty and Shayna and I, are cultivating a space with intention to support us in connecting deeply with our true self so that we can be nourished, so that we can find ways to reconnect and reset, not just on retreat, but as we move back into our lives, right? Into that day-to-day. Retreats allow space for us to connect beyond the noise. And whether that's the noise of the connectivity, whether that's the noise of pressures, internal or external, whether that's just our conditionings or beliefs that may no longer be ours, but we're still hearing the voices of, as we move through our days. It supports an opportunity to allow that to settle so that we can really listen. As we listen, it opens that path for connecting to our intuition, feeling into our gut, being able to navigate our days, our relationship with self and others from this deep space of truth, which we get to when the nervous system settles. On this retreat, we will be guiding, Paty, Shayna, and I will be guiding supportive practices and providing a structure. So it's always collaborative. You always have a say, but it's done for you. And I just pause there because that is something that when I have experienced on retreat, it's like I can lean into it. And somebody might ring the bell that tells me it's time for lunch, but I don't have to keep track of my clock or of this or of that. And to be held in that container is something unique. And those of you who may have experienced retreats in the past, if you've had an experience of that, and there's anything you want to drop into the chat around that, or if you haven't, or maybe you have and it hasn't been on retreat, but if you've been able to experience that, letting go of the structure and just having somebody else kind of lead, love to hear what that's been like for you. Retreats, and this retreat, different retreats do different things. This retreat is offering an opportunity to connect with community, to build community. It's when we see and share with others, the amplification of healing and witnessing is real. because even though we're so different as individuals, we are so connected when it comes to the depth of certain things. So someone else's story, though the details may be different, amplify what's going on because there are threads of truth that we hear. And that is something unique to being able to connect in a safe, guided structure of community like this. And really, it does help to dissolve long stuck patterns that we might not be able to see otherwise or could take kind of years to get to. Um, so these are real tools that we're offering. And although they will support the retreat, they also can be taken into life, into your lives. They are in our lives for the long term, and help us to continue to regulate our emotions, lean into clarity, and come into alignment. And so let's just take a gentle breath, feeling into the idea of the retreat container and feeling into this potential for connecting to our true self. Decision making becomes easier, relationships shift, and the path forward becomes more clear. Shayna, I'm going to hand it to you.
Thank you, Becca. Awesome. I'm so excited about this retreat. So the next few slides, we're going to be walking through what the retreat feels like, what it offers, and why it matters. So this retreat is really meant for anyone who's craving a moment to reconnect with themselves. I know for me personally, that's been a big part of this new season, as I mentioned earlier, that I'm on. Whether you're calling in a fresh chapter, you're needing time to reset, or you're just really looking for a deeper emotional clarity, this space is created to meet you where you are. We want you to feel supported. We want you to feel grounded and connected to, as Becca said, a community that understands that longing. You can go to the next slide, Becca. A big part of this retreat is reconnecting with a slower and more intentional rhythm. It's about feeling supported enough to soften and to land and to come back to your own inner strength with, I want to say, not simplicity, but with ease. And this really, it's more of an invitation to connect to your body, to your spirit, and to your soul in a way that feels gentle and feels safe. Because for me, I know that a lot of the clients that I've been working with, safety and feeling that gentleness is a big part of it. We don't find that everywhere. So it's really, really important to have that container where we can allow everyone to open up into that. You can skip to the next slide. We've really, as I say, creating an immersive container here, a space that holds you, that nourishes you, and gently supports whatever you're moving through, because we're all going through something different, as Becca mentioned. It doesn't matter where you are, everybody's going through something. And there's this structure that we've created throughout the retreat, but it was also very important to make sure that there's a lot of space left for you to integrate as you move along so that you can find your own rhythm. So that's why this container that we've created it's immersive, because it's offering both the structure as well as that space for you to breathe and exhale everything in. You can go to the next one. This venue is positively wonderful. Chosen is honestly one of those places that you can feel before you even understand it. When I first visited there, I remember this immediate sense of peacefulness that I got. Like my whole body just exhaled on its own. It's just, you're surrounded by this lush subtropical nature, and there's something about the land that makes you feel like you want to slow down without even trying. You're in the city, but you're not in the city. You forget that you're in the city because it's just so tropical. It's, I want to say, incredibly alive, but it's also quiet in a very grounding way. It's a bit of a contradiction, but That's the best way I can use to describe it. It's the kind of place that, the noise that you didn't even realize you were carrying kind of starts to fade. I was only there for 2 days, and those 2 days felt like I had, been away for a week. It was just, it's spiritual, it's it's amazing, and that's why we chose it. The environment itself does half the work. It helps your nervous system to settle itself. It softens you, and it kind of deepens that connection back to yourself. And we really wanted a space that feels like a sanctuary. And I think Chosen really does hold that energy. Slide. So throughout the retreat, you're going to be guided through various practices that were designed to help your system soften, to settle and reconnect, because the whole reason for the retreat is connecting to true self. So a lot of the activities, or all of the activities that we have planned, are helping you to come back to you, even if it's a little step at a time. We'll move through a blend of Reiki, meditation, mindful movement, breath work, and some really deeply restorative sessions. Each session that we have crafted and created is supporting you to come back into your body and to your inner truth. As a team, we'll be bringing something different. Paty's intuitive energy work and trauma-informed healing, Becca's body talk, and her amazing integration support, and my own grounding through practices like Pilates, breath work, and we'll go through ceremony as well. Together, we've created this container that, again, really meets you where you are, and it just gently helps you drop deeper into relaxation. When you have everything being done for you, it's so much easier for you to focus on you and, have that clarity and that connection. I want to say this isn't about doing more. It's about letting your body and your spirit finally rest. Yeah, that's the best way I can sum that up. You can go to the next slide, Becca. One of the most healing parts of this retreat is reconnecting with nature, and Chosen really does offer that in leaps and bounds, whether it's walking through the grounds, sitting with the trees, or just taking a moment to be outside and just breathe it all in and listen to the birds and feel the wind on your skin. This land really does play a big role in helping us ground and reconnect. And I think, earthing and grounding has always been a big part of, me, and I'm sure Paty as well, like, Becca, being outside helps you find that space and that quietness and stillness within. So we'll be creating a really nourishing and wholesome, our chefs are going to be creating nourishing and wholesome meals prepared for us. And, one of the big things about healing and working this path and moving through the journey is what we put into our bodies. That is in itself something that helps us shift a lot, what we're taking in terms of food as well as energetically. But when you don't have to make decisions to cook, your body finally gets to relax and receive, which is what we're hoping for. The meals are going to be fresh, grounding, and intentionally created and help you to support your healing throughout the retreat. Movement has always been one of my anchors, especially in seasons where life feels overwhelming, which it has been a lot. And during the retreat, we're going to be moving through ways to help the body release, to reconnect and feel supported again. Mariposa's dance is a beautiful blend of journey dance and intuitive movement that just helps you release all that stagnant energy that's stuck. No judgment, no choreography, just pure freedom, pleasure, and an emotional release. It's fun. It's such a fun thing to do. And this retreat, which is a little bit different than most of the retreats you've seen, which are very yoga centered, we're going to be doing Pilates. We're bringing Pilates into the space. It's accessible for all bodies. It doesn't matter where you're at, whether you have different ailments, different diseases. Pilates is for every single body, and it's going to help you to rebuild that mind body connection, because that is what Pilates is. It's a mind and body connective activity. It's going to help you stay grounded, strengthening, and it's going to do it in a very embodied way. These practices are here to help you feel more present, more open, and come home to yourself. Because at the end of the day, we want to connect to our true self. So throughout the weekend, there's amazing spaces in the venue in Chosen. We're going to be having different ceremonies and rituals, from tea ceremonies and some other surprise rituals. These ceremonies are really just about release and renewal, letting go of what's being weighing us down and creating space for what we want to invite in. It's beautiful, it's grounding, and it's very supportive for transitions, big emotions, or, if you're just looking for that clarity and stillness. So I'm really looking forward to the ceremony and the rituals, but I'm going to be handing it over to Paty, and she's going to be taking us through what the weekend's going to be looking like.
All right, so I hope you all are getting excited and seeing yourselves there. So I'm going to be diving in a little bit more in the day to day. So this retreat is also going to be different in the fact that we're offering two options. One is a full weekend. You come in Friday afternoon, late afternoon, stay all through Saturday, and then Sunday you get to slowly go back home, and we'll explain what that means. We're really excited about that. So if you're like, so we have some people who live very close, and they're like, hey, so that sounds amazing, the full weekend. I may want to just stay in my own bed so that they can come out the full Saturday. So the one day. So on day one, so let's look at the full weekend and see what excites you. I know I'm excited because anytime I get to leave Miami, I'm like, yes. And then I don't have to drive. You get there and you leave your car, and that's it for the weekend. So you'll be arriving between 4 to 5:30 p.m. Hopefully the sooner the better, because then if, let's say, you arrive around 4 o'clock, 4:30, whatnot, you'll have time to settle into your room and walk the grounds. It's very expansive space. We'll let you know. We're going to have maps available so you'll have an idea of what's on the property and where you can go. And then we're going to be starting with our evening activities at 6 p.m. That's when we'll do the introductions, setting intentions. We'll have our first meal together, and then we'll have an evening meditation and ritual activity. So that's day one, keeping it kind of light, because day two, that's where the journey really continues on. Go ahead, Becca.
Paty, I just wanted to interject for one moment. If people want to arrive earlier on Friday, so the check-in to the lodge, which is where we're sleeping, begins at 4. But if people wanted to come to the Chosen land beforehand on Friday earlier, that's available, right?
Yes. Chosen opens up their gates basically starting at 9 a.m. We just can't officially check in until 4 p.m. to where we're going to be staying the weekend, because we're going to be renting out it's called the lodge. And so we're all going to be staying in the same building. That's also, we'll have a chef on site. She'll be staying there as well and cooking in the house, in the lodge.
Okay, thank you. So if people wanted to come and enjoy the property, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the extras Chosen has to offer as well. But if you wanted to do that earlier during the day before we all check in, that's available. Thanks for clarifying that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So on day two, I know, seems kind of busy, but we promise that it's not as busy as it looks. I've been facilitating and hosting retreats for quite a few years. My first retreat that I co-facilitated was in 2014 in Costa Rica, and that's where we really learned that less is more. And so we've definitely have strategically created this schedule to ensure that you have a morning practice, moving slow, and everything we do is optional. If, let's say, there's one activity you're like, I'm just not feeling it because I'm having a moment, or I need to go hug a tree and journal alongside for a moment, that's totally fine, right? We want to honor where you are as long as you let us know what direction you're going in or where you're going. We've had some participants be like, I'm going to go this way, and we have no idea. And getting lost internationally, not the best option. So we definitely just say, you make flow, but let us know. Um, this is the day that day retreaters will arrive. So they would be arriving after we eat breakfast, where I'll be facilitating a flower ritual. I'll leave it at that. It's really beautiful and connecting. And Becca will be leading us in a turning towards true self interactive discussion. You're going to have personal time. During personal time, you can take a nap. There's a sauna, there's cold plunges, there's other activities that you can do throughout the retreat center, and we'll let you know what that looks like. So before, you know, closer to the retreat, we'll be offering a breakdown of the schedule so that you'll be a little bit more aware. And I know I'm a very organized person, which is one of the reasons why I was like, I'll produce it, because I love just organizing and keeping things on track. And so we'll be letting you know like what to bring, and again the agenda. But yeah, once you get there, you can just let us take care of you and let go of the agenda and just trust in us. We'll also be participating in breath work and a fire ceremony, and most importantly, nature walk, walking mindfully in silence while we move and connect with nature. And then day 3, we're going to begin with morning movement. It won't be a full Pilates class, but basically a smaller container where Shayna is going to be sharing with us what are some techniques or some moves that we can easily incorporate when we go home. Everything that we bring into this container of a retreat, we encourage you to find parts of it to take home. Because the thing is, and just like Becca, I've been to many retreats where they feed us so much information and so many activities that I just get overwhelmed. I'm like, well, I don't know which one to do. And so then I don't do any of them. So I leave relaxed, but then I'm not putting that in integration. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. Then they'll give you time to pack. We're going to have brunch about 10:15. And then as of right now, the official checkout of the lodge would be 11 a.m. However, they're going to kind of let us know if that's set in stone closer to the day, or if we could be a little bit more flexible depending if they have another group coming in. You're welcome to stay on site at least until 5 p.m. They have a cafe, they have activities like kayak, like a self-guided kayak tour. They have a cruise, like a little riverboat cruise. They have massages, and we're going to give you all of that information in an email closer, like next month, just so again it's not too much information, but so that you can start identifying, oh, a massage, that sounds really great, and then we'll be able to help you set that up. Okay, so some of the retreat bonuses that you'll be receiving as soon as you join us. We have a private retreat WhatsApp group where we just let you know some updates if we just sent an email, if we have a webinar, or if we have some information, or if people have some questions. Once you arrive at the day of the retreat, you'll have a welcome gift bag with some yummy goodies. Well, I was just like home, home support. So we'll also have some handouts that we'll be giving to you throughout the retreat that you can take them home. You'll also be receiving a lifestyle medicine ebook by Becca, and then an Usui Reiki Principles ebook with a guided Reiki infused meditation that I've created. We're also going to have about a few days later, and during the retreat, we'll make the decision of when that is. But we're going to have a post retreat group integration video call, very much like this, but more like a check in. What's going well? What are some challenges? What are some struggles? Right? Because what we've learned, especially coming out after a retreat, is sometimes like you're on this high, this natural high, things are going great, yet the people around you, the situations, environments, work, school, whatever that looks like, that has all stayed the same. And then your vibration starts to lower and lower. And so in this post retreat group integration, we're going to check in and talk about, well, what are some tools that you learned in the retreat, that maybe one thing that you can start implementing. And just as a reminder, as you continue living your day to day. So you're going to walk away from this retreat with a newfound connection with your true self. I know it seems like, wow, how can that happen in only 3 days? Well, what's happening is that you're disconnecting from your day-to-day and all of those different hats and responsibilities, and you're able to really peel back so much stuff to get back to the clarity of, wow, what do I enjoy? Oh, I enjoy just laying in the hammock. Great. How can I incorporate more of that in my day-to-day or in my overall life? You're going to also regulate your nervous system. It's been proven that people who attend retreats are able to rebalance, realign, and feel much better for longer periods of time because they've taken the time to rest, to also incorporate activities that help them to regulate their nervous system so that you get out of that survival mode and back into safety, like Shayna spoke about, being present and flowing with ease. You're going to also have clarity on your next steps. Now, this doesn't mean that you're going to plan out the rest of your year. What it means is that you might recognize, hey, this one job position that I'm in, it's not giving me the joy that I'm looking for. Is there something I can tweak? Or this relationship that I'm in, it's not helping me to be of my highest self. What can I improve? Right? And so it's just going to give you that clarity because you've taken a step away from the busyness. Go ahead. You're going to also walk away with tools for daily life integration, just like the ebooks that Becca and I would be giving you. And Shayna wants to put together a simple Pilates video that would also be something that you would take home. You're going to have increased capacity to listen to your inner signals. What I mean by that is, let's say you have a conversation with a loved one and you in the past didn't notice how tense you got just by the tone of that person's voice. Now after the retreat, you're going to be able to notice a little bit more. Wow, my body's starting to get tense. My heart is beating faster. I'm struggling to breathe. And that is simply where you get to tune in and be curious. Okay, well, what's coming up for me right now? What is triggering me? Is it this person's voice? Is it something that they're saying? What's happening? And you learn from, or you move away from being critical and angry or even resentful to being curious and compassionate. And most of all, you'll recognize that you're not alone on this journey. You're going to have a community. We'll keep the WhatsApp group going for just a little bit after the retreat, just so that we can stay in connection. And you're going to be part of a circle throughout the weekend where you get to be held, and as well as in the WhatsApp group where that holding and that compassion will continue beyond the retreat. So if this sounds like, yes, this is that new renewed sense of possibility, then we're excited for you to join us. We want to provide you that space, the support, so that you can experience that inner clarity. I know when I have felt safe, when I have felt comfortable, I can be my most vulnerable, even if that means like, okay, I'm allowing myself to boohoo cry and not feel ashamed or embarrassed. And that has even happened as a retreat facilitator where something hits me and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't hold it together. And I can know that I'm being supported by my community. So we've all probably gotten to this question like, this sounds amazing. What is the investment? And that is what we really want to help you focus on, and we'll answer any questions that you have. It is an investment. You're absolutely right. But it is an investment on your holistic self. What we've recognized is when people go to retreats, they leave so much better and healthier, and they keep that momentum going, so it increases prevention. The retreat is not just the answer to change your life. The retreat is the help, that portal where it can start helping you shift what's not working in your life so that you can start incorporating what does. So for the full weekend, the early bird special, we're going to extend it just for you all until the end of this month, which is the 28th. So for a shared, meaning you're going to be sharing with another person, it's $9.97 per person. If you want to be by yourself in a room, we have just a few spaces for that. It's $11.47. Now that includes everything that we just discussed, all of the meals, all of the activities, the location, the facilitators, and so we are there to support you. For those who want to just come on Saturday, it would be from 10 a.m. to basically after dinner or after the ceremony, whenever you feel like you want to leave. And that price is $5.97, which again also includes the bonuses that we talked about, as well as the post-retreat integration call. So what we're offering today, this is something we haven't offered before, is a deposit. So you pay the $250 today, and I'll drop the link in a moment, then that will guarantee that holding. And then I will follow up with you and we'll create a payment plan that works. So if that needs to be broken into 2 payments, 3 payments, we'll have that discussion and get you set up. We want to help you invest in yourself in the easiest way possible. So like we said, pricing is all inclusive. It is non-refundable. The moment you put that $250 or pay in full, it's like, okay, here it goes. And for any of you who have a business, this can be also a business write-off in a way. Again, talk to your CPA. I'm not a CPA. I know I get to write off a lot of my retreats because they are professional growth. And so that's what we're looking at. Now, Becca has been amazing and she wants to gift the first two people who say yes and put down a deposit. She's going to offer a 30-minute intention call, and she'll go a little bit more into that if you would like.
Yeah, thanks, Patty. And I just want to thank everybody for your patience and your listening. I know we've been sharing a lot here, so just take a minute, everybody with us. Anybody been on retreat before? Maybe raise your hands. I know we can see some of you. Yeah. Yeah. So those of you who have, thank you for considering. Those of you who haven't, just so excited for the potential of this retreat being your first. Yeah. So this intention setting call, is 30 minutes that we get one-on-one where we can really just kind of deep dive what's going on with you at this time. What is part of your why for coming into the retreat? And this is something we'll do beforehand to really help set you up in a good way before coming into the retreat, and possibly even begin some of that like nervous system balancing, and just to support that way of like arriving at the retreat feeling deep into that anchor and really ready to kind of, it's interesting in retreat because there's so much that happens, but it's like the happening from the being. And so, it's really setting that intention so we can let it go and show up with a bit more of just that feminine energy. So yeah, happy to offer that. Thanks, Patty.
Mhm. For sure. We have one more slide. So the retreat registration officially closes March 20th. We're going to end the early bird pricing like we mentioned at the end of this month. So this will be a great way to secure that deposit and lock yourself in and say, okay, I'm in. And if that deposit is still like, oh, Patty, I don't know if I could do that yet, again, just reach out to me. You can send me an email, respond to the email that I sent you. Let's have a conversation to see if this is really calling to you, how we can support you. We want to, in full transparency, say that this is open to all genders. As of right now, the participants that have registered are female. We don't know if men will come. If they'll come, it may be with a partner, or if a man may come, my husband might be present. We're just not sure, though we want to just let you know that may be an option. If it is an option, or if a man does register, just know that it's all in safety and protection and awareness. We know everybody who comes in, we screen them to make sure that the people can feel comfortable. So with that, we will stop the presentation so that we get much better visuals and answer any questions, or if you have any comments about anything that we've shared or even about us as individuals, we are here.